It is Friday morning, August the 27th. It is 8:01 a.m. here on the East Coast. It's time for Just Talking Life, episode number 70, presented to you by your friends at
Elite Realty Group.
Glad to be with you on this Friday morning. We've got some good stuff.
We do.
That we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be really, really good today.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to like that. We're going to come to you, man, to bring you some good information today, as we always try to do on Just Talking Life, where it is a show that we do exactly what it is that we are saying we're doing, and we're just talking life, and we're just talking life with each and every one of you. We're glad that you are here this morning, hanging out with us, running around with us, talking with us, doing all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah, that's right.
We couldn't do anything that we do without you guys showing up and showing out. And every time we go live, you all do that, hang out. This show here, though, seems to have a little bit different tone and turn than everything else that we do.
We're a little chill.
It's Friday, so we're wild on Monday. And by the time we get to Friday, we're ready to just sit around and talk about it. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? We're ready to just sit around and talk about it. And we're going to do that with you guys today. Here's what we're talking about. We're going to talk about something that's going to be difficult for us to talk about today on Just Talking Life. We're going to be talking about our strengths.
Right.
And we're going to be talking about some faults that we may have. So stay tuned for that. Make sure that you play along with us. Make sure you participate with us this morning. Help us literally to get the show spread around the world. We can't do what we do without you guys helping us and doing what you do. And again, every time that we go live, you do so absolutely outstanding by doing that, by helping us spread the show literally around the world. I can't tell you the last time that we've been live that we have not been coast to coast, and we've literally been seen in other countries other than the great United States of America that we are in here today. So you can help us this morning big time by doing three big things to help us spread the show literally around the world. Dave's doing those now, and he's going to tell you what you can do to help us this morning while I do those things.
Okay, so help us out like we always ask you to do. You guys deliver when we ask you to do this. So remember to like the video, share the video, invite people to come watch the video with you. That's how we get out and get seen, is because you guys are doing those three things. Yes. And then again, when you get here, because you're going to come, your friends are going to come because you're going to share it. Say something to us when you get here. Say hello. Say good morning. Say hello. I'm watching from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Wherever you're watching from.
Right.
Yeah. So like, share, invite, comment when you get here.
Absolutely. We would love for you to do those things this morning. Again, we got a good show for you. Going to be talking about strengths and faults that all of us have, and whether we want to believe it or not. Every single one of us have those. Sometimes it's hard to admit either of those, your strengths and maybe some faults that you have. Sometimes it's hard to have that conversation with yourself. So we're going to help you today by leading that conversation, and we're going to talk about our own, man. It's Transparency 101 is what we're coming with here today on the show. We're going to be talking about those with you, and we're going to help you guys by leading maybe just a conversation this morning that can help us all. When we decided to do this show way back 70 episodes ago, been literally over 2 years now that we've been doing this show. When we decided to do this, we said, you know what, man, life in itself is crazy enough. And sometimes for all of us, we're all at different points in our life, different ages. We've got different responsibilities. We've got different thoughts. We've got different patterns. But this is what we know. All of our experiences that we've all had with life. When you can come together and you can sit down and you can kind of talk about those things, if there's something we could do to help each other out, man, ain't that the right thing to do?
That's what we should do.
Like, that's what we should do. That's helping your fellow man out. So that's what we decided when we wanted to do this show. We just literally have a conversation, give tips, give tricks, talk with you guys about life. And it seems like, again, on this show more than any of those, you guys show up and you do that really good. So today we're talking about strengths and faults that all of us have in life. I cannot see the comments. You're going to have to
got them over here, buddy.
Give some shout outs to the people, and let's start talking life.
Right here on mine, Maxine says good morning, and David Taylor says what's up.
What's up, y'all?
Over here on the company page, Nicole says good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Mitchell says good morning, everyone. Grandma Rose says good morning. Erica says good morning.
Good morning.
Cody and Ashley says good morning.
Good morning to all of you.
Norma Jean says good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning.
Jan says good morning.
Good morning to each and
Cody
every one of you.
and Ashley says done, so they've liked, shared, and invite. Greg Harrison says, good morning, happy Friday, guys.
Yes, happy Friday, Greg Harrison.
Siobhan says, good morning. Joey Gibson says, morning, my brothers.
Good morning, Joey Gibson, man. He sung the national anthem, him and his wife last week. Talking about life, knocked it out of the park. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Way to let it rip, y'all.
Yeah.
I got on mine Charlie Grooms. Good morning from Morristown, Tennessee. Allison Steele. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Allison and Michelle Spriggs from Toledo, Ohio. Good morning. Glad that each and every one of you guys are with us. Like, share, invite, comment on the video.
And then do it again.
Yes, whether you're watching us today on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, whatever channel, whatever place you are, do what you got to do to share the video. Get us as many people watching this morning as possible.
David Taylor says he wants to wish his wife a happy 17th anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you, David. And Dee Dee, happy anniversary to both of you guys. Enjoy your day. Let's get rolling here, all right? Just Talking Life, episode number 70, presented to you by your friends at
Elite Realty Group.
Here we go. Strengths and weaknesses. Strengths and faults. Strengths and things that might be holding us back in life. This is what we say a lot. We've said it many different ways. We've said it many different times. Our lives, man, they're literally what we make of them, okay? True. We look at life a lot of times, and we look at and we see circumstances and situations, and although we all have those different parts
we all
and pieces of our life, we all go through ups and downs, goods and bads, all of those things. However, a lot of the things that we face, a lot of the things we go through, a lot of the things we are dealt and we have to deal with, it's literally what we make of it. Whether we make that good, whether we make it a little bit worse, our thoughts, what we feel about it, it can change the whole perception of everything that it is that we're going through. And again, no matter good, no matter bad. When you look at life, though, and you look at each and every one of us, we're going to throw a question out to you guys, and your participation is going to be very much welcome and needed here today. But if you can look at your own life this morning, and you could say, okay, I have this is the biggest strength that I have. If you could identify the biggest strength that you have in your life, what would that be? Now, I'm not talking about your all's beautiful eyes,
right?
And you got a good looking beard here today, although it is getting some white patches in it.
It is, yeah. It really
but
is.
I'm talking about attributes that we all have. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like you're a person who perseveres through things. You're a person who always has a positive mindset and a positive outlook. What type of those strengths? You can give us more than one. We'll take as many as you want to give today.
Yeah.
But you know what I found out in talking with people and a lot of different things that I do in life and many areas that I do different things, business, spiritual, church, all those things. It's hard to get people to talk about strengths that they have.
It is.
It's hard for you to even identify and want to almost give yourself credit because you almost feel like you're being boastful or prideful or whatever.
Right.
But it's okay to totally acknowledge strengths that you have.
Yeah.
It's 100% okay to do that.
Yeah, again, I don't know that you should go out and brag about them, but
I'm not talking about that.
It's okay for yourself to acknowledge and understand that, hey, this is kind of my
This is a
strong
strength.
point. Yeah.
This is a strong point that I have. What are some of those strengths that you guys have? Put those answers in the box. Let's see what you guys got. We're going to give ours here in a minute. And then when you look at it on the other side, this one's usually the one that's easy for us to do. And it's the faults that we have.
Right. Everybody has their
It's the things that we look at and we say, oh, these are faults that I have. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, why is it that when we look at those faults, so many times we do begin to go to our appearances and we do begin to go to things like that we say, well, that's faults of me. That's things that, is bad in my life. But so identify for us, talk with us today, have us a little bit of fun this morning because we're talking about strengths and faults and why it's important for you to identify both of those in your life and both of those that, again, are going to be good for you to identify, bad for you to not. We're going to talk about those. So begin putting those answers in the box. Dave and I are going to be doing these things too, but we're going to start with strengths today because that one is one of the hardest ones to talk about because you don't want to acknowledge things about yourself. True. Now, I'll look at you and I'll say, man, you're really good at that.
Yeah.
You're really good at handling these things. You're really good at, being able to overcome a problem or doing those things. But when I look at my own life, I sit back and think, I can't do that. I'm not you. I can't do those things. But this is what I'm going to say to every single person on this show today. Again, whatever platform you're here on, all of us have strengths. Every single one of us have strengths. We've all got them, but it's important for us to identify those. Now, why would you think, off the top of your head, why is it important for us to know our strengths?
Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to know your strengths, but I think I'm flipping it because I was thinking somewhere else.
Go with it.
I think it's better. I think it's awesome to know your strengths for one. So let's just get that out there.
Sure.
It's good to know that way. You know, hey, this is what I'm okay at. This is what I'm good at. But I think it's even more important to acknowledge your weaknesses.
Well, I do too. I think they're both.
Your downfalls. I think those help you probably more than acknowledging your strengths.
But I'm going to go back to these strengths for a minute because I think they're equally important. Because here's why I say that. When you look at those things, because is not life at some point in time going to smack us in the mouth?
About every day.
It's not at one point in time we're going to have a bad day. Something ain't going to go our way.
Well, you say all the time, if you ain't having a bad day, just wait. Give it a little bit.
Hang on, right? Yeah. But you look at it and you say, all of us go through those things, and we go through situations and circumstances that are there in our life, and there's things that we're going to have to deal with. If you understand that when those things come your way, there's strengths in your life that you can use to overcome them, you are highly more likely to overcome that situation, that problem, that circumstance a whole lot quicker, rather than if you sit around and think, oh my Lord, true. I can't deal with this.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I can't deal with this. All of us have strengths, okay? Every single one of us. Identifying those for you is going to help you when you face those battles, those things that you run up against in your life, that you feel this might be a little bigger, this might be a little harder than I can even deal with. Understanding and knowing your strengths are, again, a big thing. Now, here we go. We've put it out to them. Now we're going to put it out to me.
I didn't make my mind up. I'm not answering until they answer.
Well,
they got to give us one answer.
We got to talk.
They got to talk. I'm waiting on them to give us one answer.
Here's what we're going to go with. We're going to identify. Maybe they're waiting on us.
They might be.
So here's what we're going to go. We're going to start with you, and we're going to identify. I'm only going to let you give me one, okay? And then we're going to talk about it for a minute.
Okay.
But if you could say, there's one thing that I look at in my own personal life, and I say, this is a strength in my life, what would that be?
I think I am a great people person.
Go with it.
I'm a great people person. I don't think there's anybody that I can't have a conversation with.
Sure.
So I enjoy talking to people.
Sure.
Siobhan says all the time, she says I blame it on other people.
Right.
That like I get in these conversations and then I'm like, I've been over there for 4 hours, buddy, talking.
Right.
And she says I always blame it on other people, but a lot of times it's me because which maybe in turn is, I might be telling you too, I feel kind of a good listener.
Sure.
So like I like to hear what's on people's mind, and I like to try to help them to maybe address those things. You know, like how can I help you?
Sure.
Maybe. So I like to talk to people.
Sure.
I get along with people.
Mm-hmm.
I've always got along with people. So I'm a people person, and I like to listen to people.
So you kind of put those two together. You like to talk, and then you like to listen.
I do. I do. I like conversations.
Sure. I'm with you on this. I mean, I think that it's definitely, those kind of go hand in hand when you look at it. Now, I'm going to go a little deeper with me and you because we're leading conversation here today. And then we're going to talk and see if anybody else is answering us. So you identify and you say you like to talk to people, your ability to communicate with people, and you look at it and you say you're a good listener. How have those? Because I think this is equally important, understanding our strengths, but also looking at how's that helped you to succeed in life?
Well, Cody and Ashley said very true, Dave. That's part of what makes you a good realtor.
So
they must have thought I'd done a pretty good job.
We'll talk with them. You know what I'm saying? I can go with it. I don't have no problem.
So how has
But when you look at it and you say, okay, that's a strength for me, but now let's go on better. How's that benefited you? How's that helped you succeed in life?
Well,
because we're just talking life.
Depends
today.
on how we're defined succeed. If it's because of money,
Wonder why you mind with the money?
Because that's what people think when they think succeed.
Well, see, that's where I wanted to go with
that's what I'm saying. So to me, succeeding is that has caused me to have some good relationships.
There's where I think you're right.
Yeah. So I think the relationship part of it it's caused, I think most people that I have come into contact with, I think that most time we keep a good relationship.
I think so too. I would think that would be a big thing that you would do. So you guys identify, all right? We're talking today about strengths and faults, why it's important for us to identify these, why it's important for us to look into these things. Sometimes it's hard to do, and I'm telling you, a lot of people have a hard time talking about their strengths than they do their faults. When we go to faults here in a minute, they might be people throwing them all over the place. Maybe not. But let's look at this and say, what's your biggest strength? And how has that helped you? We're going to add on to the question, how's that helped you to succeed in life? How's that helped you in times that you've had to struggle? How's that helped you in being able to overcome obstacles in your life? How's it helped you succeed? Then also, throw your fault out there, all right? What's the biggest fault that you have? We've all got strengths. We've all got faults. We're going to talk more deeper about faults here in just a minute, but identify those, put them in. Let's see what you guys got. Anybody say anything to us before I give mine?
Cody and Ashley said, I'd say I'm a good listener when people have a problem. I'm good at listening and understanding, not just trying to solve their problems, letting them vent.
I agree.
And then Joey says, a growing faith that has been a strong point lately.
That's a great one. I mean, you got to have it, right?
Yeah.
You got to have those things. Like the video, share the video, invite people to the video. This is episode number 70 of Just Talking Live, presented by your friends at
Elite Realty Group. And Elite Realty Group said, I'm good, so this is Nicole, I'm a great person to cry with. People call me, and goodness sakes, if they start crying, I lose it too.
True.
So she's just
True
she's
story.
a full-time crier.
She's a full-time crier. There's 100% correctness about that statement, all right? So we're talking today about strengths and faults. Strengths, how that they've helped us succeed in life. Faults, we're going to go into that one here in just a minute. Dave gave his strength, good listener, and he likes to talk to people. You know what I'm saying?
I do like to talk to people, man. I think I'm a real people person.
I'm with you on this. I could go with that. I definitely think that. So I'm going to go with mine now, okay? You get to interview me now. So here's mine. When I look at it and I say probably something that as strength as I have is my desire and my willingness to have compassion on people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that that's something that when I look back at things that I do all the time, constantly do things all the time, I think compassion is a big thing that a lot of people need to have in their life, but I do think it's something that is a strong point, if you would say, for me, because I enjoy assisting other people that may be going through what we're going to talk about here in a minute, that hard time, going through a fault. I enjoy being, and maybe it goes with what you're saying, that ear to hear, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I enjoy doing those things, but also not only just having the compassion, the ability to not only have that compassion, but then serve that person to try to help them. Right. You know what I'm saying? To try to help them in a point where they are in their life. I do it in business. I do it in personal lives. I do it in a lot of different things that you look at and you say, I don't know whether I can do that, but I think sometimes when you just look at it and acknowledge those things, it's good for you to do that. It's good for you to do that. So you look at it and you say, those strengths are things that when we come in our lives, it's going to help us. It's things that's going to help us to be able to go through, be able to get through all of those things. I'm going to read this comment over here. So Allison says on mine, strengths are your toolkit for success, and everyone has a different toolkit. That's the truth. We've all got different strengths. No doubt about it. I saw a quote in my memories recently that said, everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. There's no doubt about that.
I like it.
It's 100%. That's the truth. We've all got those strengths. So when you go back and you look at this, you identify those. You understand that it's things that you are strengths in your life. But don't we? I'm going to go back to, because you said something in yours that I think is worth bringing up before we go to faults. You made a comment that Siobhan says you blame it on other people a lot of times.
Right.
Don't we, though, allow other people's opinion of us and what other people think we're good and bad about? Don't we allow that to dictate a lot of things we believe about our own self and
really
our lives?
Yeah.
We allow other people's thoughts and other people saying, well, you're no good at that. And we allow that to affect us, whether what we even think about our own selves. Now, look here. We've said this many times. If anybody in the whole entire planet are to believe in you, it should be you. If anybody in the planet are to be able to trust in you, it should be you. If you can't, that's a whole other separate situation. That's a whole other conversation that we can work out another time. But you, me, all of us, whether you want to admit it, put it in the box, talk about it or not, you've got strengths.
Yeah.
You've got strengths in your life. Now, if your life's going to be able
whether you want to right now or not, at some point in time, you need to acknowledge what your strengths are.
That's what I'm going to say, because here's where it goes. Here's where this goes. If your life is going to get better, if life itself as we know it's going to get better, if we're going to build upon some things, if we're going to try to move forward in our lives, we've got to take our strengths and we've got to build upon those. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? We got to look at those and say, hey, I can do this, I can handle this. It's strengths, it's things that I'm going to be able to build upon, and then we got to build.
Right.
Because if we just sit around all the time worrying about the things that are no good, worrying about the faults, worrying about the stuff that we're not good at, it ain't going to ever work out. And
No.
you're always going to have that feeling, that gut sunk feeling in your life that I can't do anything well. But when you look at your strengths, you identify how they've helped you succeed so far. You looked at how they've helped you overcome things so far. It's a building point. It's a foundational point you can build upon
Right.
and be able to get better in your life. You got a
Right.
comment over there, read it.
Well, Greg Harrison says the strength of mind is the ability to take a person from being aggravated or upset and being able to calm them and help heal them no matter what. I get a lot of people tell me my laugh alone changes their mindset.
That's the truth, though.
stuff.
Everybody's got the strengths. Identifying those, that's a good one. Greg, sometimes it literally is just a laugh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is those things that you're able, that just can calm the room, that can calm the situation, that can do a lot of different things. But I think, again, for us today in this conversation, episode 70 of Just Talking Live, you identify those. You identify those strengths, and I guarantee you when you look at those, you can see where they've helped you somewhere along the way. Just being able to do those things, that strength that you have. But also, I challenge us all today as identifying those to begin to build upon them.
So I don't think I asked you how has that helped you? How has your strength helped you?
Oh, how's it helped me succeed? Well, definitely being able to have compassion and wanting to serve other people, it goes beyond the scope that I could probably take the time to give you here. But in a nutshell, it has been gratifying for my own self to know that maybe, just maybe, I was just a little small part encouraging somebody who was down to get up.
Give them the nudge.
To be able to say, look, man, it's going to be okay. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to Nicole's thing, a shoulder to cry on, whatever that it is, that you have, just that compassion on people has been something that I feel has been able to do something for my own self. That's probably being really, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but that's how I feel that it's helped me, because we say this many times, and I think we miss this point. But so many times we go into situations, especially when it's talking about compassion and serving other people, we go into that situation of helping them. But I think when we go do that, it helps us so much more than it helps those people. And I guess that's in a nutshell what I'm trying to say to you here today. Episode number 70, Just Talking Live, presented by your friends at
Elite Realty Group.
We're talking strengths and faults today. You're watching us coast to coast. We've got Ohio in the house. We got Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Washington State, California, Ohio. You guys are all in the house this morning. We're glad that you all
And
are
we got
with us.
Knoxville. Good morning, Chris Reed. He's watching on mine. He's in Knoxville.
Chris is in Knoxville,
Actually, he's in
Tennessee.
Rocky Top.
Rocky Top. I like it. We're going to be on Rocky Top next Thursday
Yeah.
night. That's a different story. Now let's move the conversation along. All
This
right?
is
We
hard.
talked a lot about the strengths. See, I think the faults is easier than the strengths any day of the week. So we've identified our biggest strengths and how they've helped us succeed. Now we've got to identify our biggest faults. All
Yeah.
right? I think people will go with this one. I hope y'all do. Okay, I hope they're still watching us. We're going to identify
Yeah, we got a
now
good crowd over here.
what's our biggest faults. All right, and how have those faults that we have, how have the strengths have helped us to get ahead, to succeed, to feel completed? How have our faults hindered us? You go first, my man.
So I was going to
Biggest fault.
This was going to be. I was going to give the same answer for both, but I changed my mind.
Okay.
So, because I was going to say I think one of my strengths is I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go and turn and say that's one of my biggest faults.
I'm with you.
Is I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Trueness to us, got you.
And so there's some times because, and I think everybody can relate to this in some form or fashion. All the time, I want to see people do the best for themselves.
Right.
You know, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine the other day, and I said we was talking about how you don't get it I just don't get it how sometimes people are so. You hear about people that's being envious and stuff like that, and they don't want what's best for other people. And
Sure.
he was like, that's just not me. That's not my personality. I said, that's me. I want you to have the best of whatever it is. I hope whatever you're doing with your profession or your job, I hope you're doing the best that you can possibly do at it. Mm-hmm. So I think as a fault, I try to help people, or I want to help people be that best so much, and I give them the benefit of the doubt. And then sometimes, the old saying goes, you can't help somebody that don't want to help themselves.
I'm with you.
So, but I think a lot of times I put a lot of effort into something that they ain't nothing there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm with
so
you.
I think that's a fault.
Right. You kind of go beyond anything that can be helped.
Yeah.
Is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So you look at that. You guys identify what are some faults. What's your biggest fault, and how's that fault that you've identified been hindering to you? You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, this is what I'm going to say. When you start fixing stuff, when you start identifying and saying, hey, I want to fix my life, I want to build upon it, I want to do this, I want to be better at this, I want to do that. The first thing you can do before you fix it is identify where the problem is.
True.
Identify maybe where there's a shortfall. Identify maybe where there's something that is there that is hindering you from being the very best version of yourself that you can be. You look at that and you say that. So here you go. I'll go with my biggest fault. I think one of my own biggest faults, and I know this, it's been really hard. This is something that I've really for a long time been trying to work on. Still haven't got to where it needs to be. But it's a really big fault of mine because I'm not the most outward going person. You know what I'm saying? Like I am in certain circumstances and situations,
Right.
but I'm not in other circumstances and situations. If you know what I'm saying with that.
Right.
I'm totally okay in certain areas to be very outward and very vocal and very those things, but there are certain situations where I understand it's a fault of my own because I hold back. And a lot of times I hold back of things that I could be better at because I just don't feel comfortable in a situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And I know that it's a fault. I know it's something that I probably need to change because sometimes when I do those things, I come off as the wrong kind of person that I'm really not.
Right.
And I understand that.
Well, yeah. So like I would walk up and talk to any individual person.
Sure.
You couldn't get me talking in front of a crowd for nothing. I walk up and you're totally flip-flopping.
I'm the total flop of that.
Yeah, you will talk to any crowd.
I would like the biggest crowd in the whole entire, like the bigger the crowd, the better that I think I could be. I would feel more comfortable, okay? But you put me to where I got to go just come up and do something, help you, talk to you. I'm totally out of my element.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this, people say, how could you do what you're doing sitting on a video talking and you're not out, you're not outgoing? Well, this don't bother me at all.
Yeah, don't bother me.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like zero.
But I hate talking in front of a crowd.
I understand.
We've had some big old crowds on there.
True
before,
story.
you know.
So you look at that, but I see that, and that's hindered me because there's a lot of relationships that I probably could have had that I won't ever. Right. Because that's something there. And it's a fault. It's something that I need to work on, something I need to fix. But that, again, that's the first step of getting things fixed, is identifying maybe this
Jason Fields says you're talking to a crowd nowadays. Yeah, but you're not right here with me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If you was right here, I'd be hush-hush, man.
Yeah, and I think that those things, that's where we are like totally the exact opposite of that. And probably a lot of people, those are things that are hard for them. But again, we've all got strengths. The moral of the story is today, the conversation we're having with you today is we've all got strengths. We've all got faults. Build upon your strengths. Those things you're good at. Now, don't take it for granted that you're good at it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be prideful and boastful that, well, I'm good at this. And you don't ever think that you have to worry about it being a problem for you. Build upon it because it's those strengths that you have that's going to carry you when you do face obstacles in your life.
Right.
However, on the opposite side of that, the faults. The faults are areas that we begin to identify, and now we begin to correct, and now we begin to fix, and we see things in our life change once we start working on those, because it's the problem that we probably need to work on a little bit in our life. What are we talking about today? Strengths and faults. Just Talking Life, episode number 70, presented by your friends at
Elite Realty Group.
Just trying to get a conversation going today to let everybody on here know if you have faults, everybody's got them. Okay, everybody's got them. If you got strengths, we're going to let you know everybody's got them. As Allison said on my timeline here, they're all different. It's toolkits.
Right.
They can look different, and that's okay. Your strengths and my strengths don't have to match up.
No.
It's what makes you you, and it's what makes me me. The other side of that, the faults are the exact same way. We probably, although a lot of us probably do have the same kind of faults, we may not and probably don't have some of the same ones.
And maybe you've never sit down and really thought about this. So this is just something good for you to think about throughout the day today. If you've never done that, you need to identify what is my strengths.
It's a good thing.
What is my weaknesses? It's good to acknowledge those things. Like Mike said, you can learn a lot from that.
Sure. Charlie says, I can talk one-on-one or listen to somebody going through some issue and listen and talk to somebody about anything, but get in front of a crowd and he will freeze up. I'm afraid I'm going to make a mess and mess up what he says, the wrong thing, and it's not just good. That's his weakness. That's a lot of times, man.
Zach Coffey says, just recognize the weaknesses will be painful at first as you work and improve. Such as starting to work out when you haven't in a year. It's painful, a journey, but the results will pay off as you push through it.
It's a true story. It's a true story. And seeing yourself through that working on yourself is sometimes a really hard thing to do, because Zach's hit the nail on the head. It's sometimes, and I think that's why people don't look at these. I really think that's why we don't ever identify our faults, because sometimes looking in the mirror is literally a hard thing to do. Allison says, have a great Friday, guys. Looking good. Thank you, Allison. We appreciate you.
Jason Fields says, my fault is I'm blunt and I come off wrong sometimes when I don't mean to.
True.
Kyle says, one of my biggest faults is overthinking and stressing out over the small stuff from time to time.
I think all of us, man, if we really look back at it and we say these things, but, don't just identify them. As Zach said, like working out, keep going, man. Keep pumping the iron. Keep pushing through, because you will be glad at the end of the day that you helped yourself and you fixed those things.
True.
Because it's faults that we have right now, and we say that it's things that's not getting us where we need to be in our life. Hey, if we can fix it, man, fix it. You know what I'm saying? Go out and fix that. What else we got over there before we head out today, man? We've been talking for 33 minutes and 49 seconds, so it's time for me and you to go. Place to go, people to see. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode of Just Talking Life, where we've been talking about strengths and faults, how our strengths have helped us, how our faults have hindered us. We're glad that you guys have been on with us today. Again, for the likes, the shares, the invites, all of our videos this week. We've had a big week of views on our videos, and we really appreciate that. We just trying to come lead a conversation, have a good time with you guys, the nation. We appreciate everything that you do for us, all the support you give to us, not just on these shows, but in our business and in our life. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Go have a great weekend. Go enjoy your strengths. Work on your faults. And then Monday morning, get your rear end up, man. Get your rear end up at 8 a.m. on Monday morning, because we're going to be waking up wild for motivation, inspiration to help you chase your dreams, goals, and aspirations, to help you become the very best version of yourself. If you have not watched Wake Up Wild, make sure that you tune in Monday morning at 8 a.m. For my partner in crime and my brother, Dave Elkins, you guys have a wonderful weekend. We will see you Monday morning bright and early at 8 a.m. when we all get a Wake Up Wild. Be safe, y'all. Be blessed. Have a great and wonderful weekend.